DC Universe and the problems with it. I've played this game since 2012, going on this year in 2018. I've taken a few breaks off, spent more on microtransactions and DLC on this one MMO than I've probably paid for a new console within the past 6 years. And the sad thing is, while I have witnessed actually watching the game trying to actually improve within that time, in various ways of course, by taking things out and adding things in, one of the biggest problems still occurs every time I log in to that game. The community of negative idiots on both ends of the scale here. Okay, so I have a history with this game, like along with other people and or fans that are actually fans of DC Comics. And it's not exactly a history of that's actually going to be having me praising the game inside and out and through and through. Well, to be fair, it's more like a 60-40. 60 being good and 40% being bad. Problem 1. Money! The moolah! Oh, for goodness sake, DC Universe. I know you need your money to continue with adding things into the game with the millions upon millions of things you get to do, all that good stuff, yada yada yada. But would it actually hurt to give something back to the consumers that are actually keeping your game going? Something back to the people that have actually spent actual money on this with the microtransactions along with the downloadable content at a reasonably discounted price. One of the things I hated while playing this game for many years was the fact of, in order for you to actually get the full benefits of the game, to actually experience the game in its entirety, right, to get past a certain phase of it, so to speak, to gain more levels, to gaining more of the flashy costumes and or styles, getting to pick the powers that look appealing to you, along with tempting you into actually wanting to try different ones out, travelling to different areas all around the DC Universe map entirety, like the Metropolis, Gotham, Themyscira, Central City, and all that other nonsense, right? You must purchase the membership. Over the years, I've paid monthly membership. Ever since, like, I wanted to get used to the game first when I first started on it. Obviously, I don't want to pay more money to things I don't even know what I'm actually doing with it. I started off with like £10 a month. Okay, affordable, not too shabby. And on the odd occasion, I paid for like 3 months their membership to stay active on the game for 3 months to get the full benefits of the game. But my question has always been I've been questioning myself on this, would it have actually hurt DC Universe devs to actually give us 1 or at least even 2 months of free membership where you get the full benefits of the game as if you were paying for membership in the first place? Bearing in mind this game has actually just gone cross-platform not too long ago. So there's the European servers and there's the American servers, right? So what is the problem of earning so much of that when there's a lot of players, even though this game's for free now, you can download it, a lot of people still pay for the DLC and the microtransactions. Why is it such a bad thing to give us 1 or 2 months for free? You know, just to say a huge thank you to us consumers and to genuinely give something back to us. You know, the gamers who have actually emptied our bank accounts, so to speak, in order to fill your wallets into your dying MMO, so to speak. I can imagine that if you actually did that, being that kind and genuine, you would get unimaginable praise. A lot of it. And probably actually regain those players who don't play anymore to actually think, okay, DC are actually being nice to us now. You know, after we've actually supported them for so long, even though I've left the game years and years ago, can't bother to come back to it because a lot of that is involved. What are they going to do for us in return? You do have the option to actually purchase the DLC, which is going to remain permanent on your account. But doing that, it's only strictly to that certain part of the game, because there's been many different chapters of DLC. So how can I easily explain this? Think of it, if DLC very first came into the game many years ago, at DLC 1, probably at DLC 25 will be this year, so to speak, because they've added in so much. Every DLC pack includes different things that come with it, such as powers, costumes, new league base items and stuff like that, if you get where I'm coming from. So when you buy a DLC pack, it only revolves around that certain aspect, and it just involves those benefits of what it actually has for that specific DLC that you have purchased. So allow me to explain for those of you that might be interested. If you are new to the game, it's very recommended from my personal experience to say go easy on your money. Big time. Speaking with 6 years experience, I for one, along with many other players, should know that. That is a fact. Okay, so here we go. If you purchase Episode 1 DLC, which is called Fight for the Light, in order to play this content, your character must be level 30, which is where you complete the tutorial of your know-how to play the game as you understand how it works in terms of how you level up through the game. So you get to grips with, you know what to do, whether you're a superhero or a supervillain. So then you begin to fathom of having a basic knowledge and understanding of how the game works. Then it is mandatory for you to actually have a combat rating of level 43. Your combat rating is basically, when you hit level 30, that's it. You've done your basic things. Now from here on, you can still level up, but this is sort of your secondary level up phase. It's capped at level 30 for the main story. Out of the 6 mentors you pick, heroes and villains included, everyone has a cap at level 30. That's to say, okay, you've gone past the basic stage, now here's where the real fun begins. You still level up. This is sort of your going through the game leveling up phase now. You gain to level 43 by purchasing your armors, your armor pieces. You're supposed to buy these in order to level your character up to get to certain stages of the game next. Climbing up the ladder, as you will, by spending your marks of entitlement, so I can actually purchase them, as you earn them as you play through the game. As you complete each mission, you're rewarded it. And that is basically how it continuously works as you rank up, really. You do a mission, whether it's a duo, alert or a raid, complete those, you get rewarded your marks. Then you use those marks, you can save them up, bear in mind every individual mark is capped at a certain stage, so you can't go past 200 on one of the marks, you can't go past like 7,000 on the other, something like that. So with Fight for the Light, you gain the Green Lantern powers if you're a hero, and the Sinestro Yellow Lantern powers if you're a villain. So what comes with that DLC pack? You get 4 alerts, 4 player maps, you get 2 duo missions, and I believe that's pretty much it with the Fight for the Light. Also you get new gear, you get new feats, which you can actually try to unlock for actually getting, skill points. So that's the basic summary of what happens when you get DLC in the game. It stays with you for a permanent basis, right? And also you get benefits of getting new things like new gear, new collections, new styles, new this and that, whatever. Every DLC pack offers its own packs with what you can actually have. My advice, if you want to give this game a go, do the following. Keep your budget under affordable control. Read and understand how the game works. And remember, YouTube is good for it too, because we have fellow gamers on here who can offer you good tips around that basis. The advertising. When I saw this trailer in 2011, I was just about to start another college course. It was quite fun times, to be honest with you. I was in a room filled with other fellow students, got on our computers, just watched different videos, and I saw what was really awesome on the screen. On first reactions, we were all amazed at what we were witnessing. On the PS3, keep in mind. And I, for one, was actually hoping to get this on day 1 of release. Just based on the it was advertised alone. Then the game was released and I thought, you flipping morons. Why advertise a video game that looks much better in cinematical appearances, that better to watch than what I've been watching on the DC movies as of the past, 15 years. Only to have a game that looks like the graphics could have been implemented from the Dreamcast on that legendary console. If anything, I'd say that console can produce better stuff than what this game looks like. I began to then believe that MMOs, if they're going to be sort of advertised like this, the gameplay can't be that much hype. You have something that looks like a 4K live action beauty, only to have the gameplay downgraded to a 40p 240p rather, resolution. The advertising is the only great thing, appearance-wise, about this game. The community of players. Okay, we have the good, the bad, and the ugly. The good is the people who play this game to have fun and an enjoyable experience, who genuinely help other players understand the game if they're new to it, or if they want to, clear up a few hidden locks. Teach them good tactics of how to actually play. Share their wisdom. Give them good pointers of how to level up, and use your powers effectively and efficiently on the battlefield. Oh, and also at the very least to help you get from one place to another, where it's from one side of the map all the way to the other side using your super speed, or whether it's just walking you from point A to point B that may be just 20 seconds running without your superpowers involved at snail pace. I'm one of those players. One of the helpful, selfless ones who genuinely actually love helping. Why? Because I fully understand why it is important to help new players understand the game, to help new players feel involved within the game, because they may or may not want to actually, play it, simply based on the fact of not getting any help or support alone. The bad is putting up with the negative idiots that continue to play it. I thought Call of Duty Online was bad. In fact, it is very bad. But this, on my 6 going on 7 years of actually playing this game, you would have thought that, because in that timeline it would be filled with tolerant people at least that actually want to put aside their own sort of things for now and actually genuinely want to help others. Whether it's a few minutes, whether it's 10, 20, half an hour, or even a few hours. You would think that, wouldn't you? Just at the expense of doing their own thing. You would think they would actually want to help the little guy who's new to the game. Don't hold your breath on it. As a matter of fact, you will die. For a nanosecond, if you're even gaining hope, you're going to die. Because asking for help on this game, on a public server, shouting out to the entire server that's actually reading your comments, of actually genuinely kindly asking for help, is like asking the 3-month-old baby, what is the mathematical equation of how many stars exist in the universe in an alien language, telepathically? It seems impossible that anybody on the servers, whether you're hero or villain side, genuinely actually wants to offer help, because they are just thinking of themselves all the blooming time. The ones like myself do offer help and make a good name for ourselves. Whether we are overpowered to actually be more than able to actually help with certain missions, or whether we are not exactly overpowered but are able to do so to help with the recommended combat rating level, whether it's a duo, alert, or a raid, to actually say, do you know what, I don't think I'm actually going to be very helpful, but I'm going to offer you my help anyway. Try and weather at least the first 50 times, 100 times, and only to say, do you know what, I've tried my hardest, things like that. Those players I greatly respect. I've been through that myself, right? I've been in many situations where I'm not the recommended combat rating level to be so effective to help, but you know what, I offer my help anyway. And the person who I was actually helping didn't kick me. He kept saying, come on, let's try again, we'll do our best, try this tactic, try that next time. Eventually, 7 times out of 10, it worked. I felt so great about myself. I helped him or her, and they helped me. Not just try once, fail on that attempt, and then throw a hissy fit for failing on the first attempt, whether you're in a raid, alert, or a duo, and then act like an over-dramatic schoolchild, and then just leave the game, like so many players have done and continue to do. What is worse now, and many of you are probably wanting to hear this as well, is that ever since a certain update, your combat rating is now for all to see. When you're in a duo, alert, or raid. Let's just call them whether you're on your missions, because I can't be bothered saying all that all over again. Not just capped at 30, like the good old days, where people judged you on your skill in the game and how effective and how good or bad you're actually playing. Now, it's all about, wow, what a bunch of noobs. You are 1 combat rating level below the recommended dosage of this specific mission. So let's all start kicking all the weakest looking players and keep the strongest here. Keep a few spaces reserved for the extremely overpowered healers, the overpowered tanks, overpowered DPSs, and all the trollers that I know on my friends list. There is not enough amount of toilets in the whole omniverse or multiverse that can even begin to spew up the amount of crap that players on this game actually admit to all of us. There do exist really good helpful players and selfless ones that actually genuinely love helping. Probably many of you have actually agreed with what I've said. It's because it's genuine fact. It happens a lot on this game. I've stopped playing for a while. I may come back in 2019, but as usual I like to take my breaks from it. It saves that, and usually when I actually spend money on the actual legendary membership, I want to make sure I'm available for the whole month. I don't really want to miss out any days, otherwise I feel like I'm wasting money. While on the subject of the players in the game, my block list is full of nobodies who just constantly spam the chat with ads every flipping day. Very unnecessarily, might I add. Advertising a whole bunch of nonsense that nobody clearly has any interest in at all. Ever since the game was free to download, it's gotten infested with trash like this. And what are the devs at Dcuo headquarters doing about this? With their huge bank accounts that we've actually filled? Nothing as far as I can tell. Pathetic. Also useless. There are videos on YouTube to teach you tutorials about how to do this, how to do that, how to gain this, how to gain that. It's very, very helpful. Use YouTube as well. If you plan on playing this game, if you can't be bothered with YouTube, at least ask someone who's actually... All I can say is good luck with it, man. Good luck. Especially considering how you want to use your powers. Use YouTube. Because there was a time where everyone was sort of copying everyone's rotation of powers, then they scrapped that and then made it better again, so you can make your own powers in terms of what rotation suits you. I'm Dr. Virtual, the Retroholic. You take care of yourselves, fellow gaming minions, and may retro gaming live on, and thank you very much for watching this video. If you enjoyed, subscribe down there. Thank you so much. Thank you.